everyone. Thank you for watching this video. I would like to thank the OECD for giving me this opportunity to share with all of you the experience of Singapore on the topic of economic analysis of mergers. My overarching theme for you is that for a small jurisdiction like Singapore, how we economize the economic analysis of mergers. Before I go into the substantive analysis of mergers, let me first talk about economizing the need for merger reviews. As you know, many jurisdictions have mandatory merger regimes. Some others have no merger regimes. In Singapore, we economize by having a voluntary regime because statistically, over 90% of M&A transactions are benign. But on the other hand, just a few anti-competitive mergers can cause significant harm to our economy. A voluntary regime allows us to focus our resources only on those mergers that are the most likely to be harmful. Next, I talk about economizing the deployment of economists for merger reviews in Singapore. With a voluntary regime, we do not have a dedicated merger review division under our organization structure. Instead, we form ad hoc case teams by pulling together lawyers and economists for all types of cases, including mergers. This allows our manpower, including our economists, to be deployed flexibly according to workload, while at the same time ensuring the involvement of economists right from the start of the review. Now, at the end of the review process, our recommendation papers are cleared through our senior management, comprising of 7 members, of which 4 are economists by training. After clearing management, our merger decisions are made by our commission, which is also represented by senior economists in Singapore, including Professor Houston Hua, who is the president of the Economic Society of Singapore. Our commission members serve on a part-time basis and are called upon at the critical junctures of decision-making. As you can see, we economize the involvement of economists in our case approval process as well, to ensure robustness in the decisions we make. Now I turn to economizing the substantive review of mergers. As in many other jurisdictions, we have a 2-phase system. In phase 1, our job is to perform a quick assessment to decide whether to clear the merger or flip it to phase 2. Accordingly, we often rely on simpler economic indicators and sometimes thresholds as rapid screening tools. These include market shares, capacity utilization, etc. When a merger goes to phase 2, that's when we need to devote serious resources into economic analysis. But still, that doesn't mean we cannot and should not economize. Instead, we use economics where it makes sense and where it makes a difference. We often talk about being a small jurisdiction as if it is a constraint in itself. But there are also opportunities where small jurisdictions can do more. Since we're small, we can often examine economic evidence down to the level of granularity that may not be feasible for larger volumes of evidence in bigger jurisdictions. For example, in the merger of kidney dialysis centers, when we define markets, geographic markets for different parts of Singapore, we examined commute patterns patient by patient. Similarly, in the merger of shipbuilders, we analyzed win-losses and closeness of rivalry, tender by tender, bid by bid, including winning and losing bids. I also want to talk about economizing quantitative analysis. As you know, merger control is forward-looking, which often needs modeling to predict the future. But we should still ask ourselves whether modeling makes sense under specific circumstances. For example, in the Grab-Uber ride-hailing merger, we economize our analysis in 2 ways. First, we obtained the due diligence documents, which included projections by the parties, financial advisors. These projections are credible as their boards used these documents in deliberating whether to enter into the merger. Second, since the merger had already taken place, there were actual data on price increases and substitutions, thus obviating the need for modeling assumptions and predictions. Last but not least, I would like to talk about economizing the use of external economic experts. We hire external experts selectively in cases where the economic opinion would have a material impact on the outcome, such as at a critical stage of phase 2 merger or in an appeal. That said, the expert's job is not merely to run quantitative models, but also to advise when certain models or tools are not suitable. For example, in the shipbuilding merger, our expert advised on the issues with the use of the residual supply index and recommended some modifications to the analysis. In the Grab-Uber ride-hailing merger, our expert advised against the use of upward pricing pressure analysis, even with modifications. So in conclusion, when economists talked about economizing economic analysis, the meaning is twofold. First, spending the least resources, and second, achieving the best outcomes. So the idea of economizing is not purely expansionary or contractionary. It's all about optimization, putting limited resources to their best use. And this is key to understanding Singapore's merger regime. Thank you all for watching this video. Hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.